I'm going to assume that you have some knowledge of working in Blender. I'm not going to go through every single move and shortcut because this tutorial will take for ages. So this isn't really aimed at beginners. Hopefully you should be able to follow what I'm doing. I'm not going to go into huge detail of rigging. I will show you how to sort of rig the face and the hands, which are the fiddly bits, but I'm not going to be 100% accurate in what I'm doing. Again, this would make this tutorial far too long. So I'm going to just show you some tricks of the trade, if you like, and I'm going to point out a few pitfalls as well. So the first thing, items that you are going to rig need to be made of one, not separate items. Even though this one here, this hairpiece here, is in theory one piece, because it's been joined and is made of separate pieces. If the vertices aren't together, then if I press tab save and then A followed by P, select loose parts, this is actually made of a lot of different parts, and in theory you should be able to rig all of these. You can try that, or you've got to try and join these together. I'm not going to go into how to do that. I've left a link on below this tutorial on joining cloth, which is, again, is a similar problem. That works 70% of the time, but not always. So I'm going to just press tab to go out of that, and let's join these together a minute. Control J. Another thing, all your items, I would advise that they're all set at location 0, rotation 0 and scale 1. This one is being changed, so if I wanted to reset this, all I do is just hold down Control followed by A, and I just usually select all transforms unless I only want to change one, and that's put everything back to how I want it. Obviously it won't line up with the rig, but I don't want this one anyway, so I'm going to just delete it. So that's one thing. It doesn't matter if your item is like I said with this hair, this is just one piece now, so that's not going to cause a problem, but you need to be aware of the problem with items. So like these eyelashes, they're all one piece. They'll work fine, so they'll work with a rigging, and that's it. Also, I would, if you're going to use some models, especially if you've imported somebody else's model, they won't always be a full body. I advise that you import the two versions, one with a dress and one with a body, but I'm not going to go into that. That's a few pitfalls you might hit when you come to rigging, especially if you're going to use a cloth simulation. What else is there? Oh yeah, setting up for rigging. If you hold down Shift followed by A, and next to armature, if you haven't got these options here and only got a single bone, what you need to do is come up to edit mode, select preferences, make sure add-ons is selected, and then in the search box type the word rig, and you need to place a tick next to rigging Rigify. Then you can close this down. Now if you hold down Shift A and then next to armature, you should have options. So I'm going to just select the human meta rig. Now before changing anything, I don't know how long this option will be in Blender, because I think they're going to use an upgraded face rig, so I haven't really used it that much, but you can go ahead and use the standard face rig. But if you come over to here There's a little running man. It says object data properties, as per a lot of these things do, but this is for your rigging. So select the little running man, and you may see this meta rig uses the old face rig. If you don't worry about it, but if you want to use the new one, just select upgrade face rig and then select upgrade face rig again, and do this before you change any sizes. So I'm going to roll my middle mouse out again, and with the rig selected, I'm going to press S and scale the rig up so it's virtually in line with the model. I'm going to roll my middle mouse, shift and my middle mouse to move my view about. Then I'm going to try and get these eyes here, these single bones inside this area here, in line with the eyes. So I'm going to just press S and scale this down so that these are sort of in line with the eyes. 3 on my numbers pad to go into side view. Now here is where how you position, especially if you're doing the head. It isn't an easy thing to do, and this new rig, there's another bone here which can make problems. I can see now this is going to have a few issues, but just to make life a bit easy for yourself, and you need to learn a few extra shortcuts really if you just started out. If I select the hair, say, and press H, I can hide it. Alt H will always bring everything back into view. So if I say hide this and the eyebrows, which I want to hide, if I press Alt H, it will bring everything into view. H will hide it. If I want to bring just one item back into view, say the eyelashes, I'll have to do that up here. Let's hide these as well. I don't need these. So now how you position your rig is really up to you. I would suggest you try and get the face lined up rather than the spine if you're new. So I'm going to just I'm going to select the rig rather, and I'm going to just press G, Y, drag this back so that it's virtually in line with the eye. Now again, you got a couple of things on this here. This is your brow. Sorry, this is your brow here. This is what will operate the eye, open and close. So again, be aware of that. So let's go back, and I don't know, let's go for this. So again, press this, select this orange box. I got things that have changed, the scale and location. So I'm going to just hold down Control A, select all transforms, and that's placed everything. Rotation and location 0, scale at 1. Okay. Now I advise that you save as you go, because if you get things wrong, it's very difficult once you've sort of started getting things wrong. So go through increments of saving. So I'm just going to save this, and then I'll come back to it. Now I've saved this, I can go on and start editing these bones. But on the subject of saving, because it can take quite a while to rig, especially a face. Don't just save it every time you've made some changes. I would advise you save as. So typically I would save, my first save is rigging part 1, and then once I'm happy I'll go along and save part 2. So I can, because once you've rigged, there is a point, once you've done your rigging and say you want to rigify this, there's no point in just going back to the last sort of position, because you might have made a mistake. So at least you can start from halfway through. But anyway, digress. So a couple of options that are worth remembering. With the object properties square box selected, you've got something called viewpoint display. Just open this up by selecting the arrow, and you can toggle between in front and sort of any bones that are inside get hidden. So that's one option that's worth playing with. So let's go into edit mode by hitting tab. Another thing that's handy to use is the X-ray. So Alt Z, you can use this tab up here as well, will put you in X-ray, and this is something that will show you there are bones that don't matter. So like this one here, this is for the jaw or the teeth. It doesn't matter where you place this too much, but something like this where you've got bone or joints within joints, if you separate this, so Alt Z, so if I say selected this one now and then grabbed it, straight away you'll get a problem, especially when you come to Rigify. So it's not an easy thing to sort of do, but I always use a circle select. So if I press C on my keyboard, I got something here which is a circle, and I make a very small circle so it's almost the size of my cursor. And then if I now place my cursor over this joint and left click, you have to right click to accept, and now if I press G, I can grab this around. The downside of this, you're doing it this way, is if I press C again and select this one, it will keep this one selected. So you're going to have to always right click after selecting. You're going to have to get used to using Alt A to deselect. So front view, try and work with a model that is the same from left to right. Doesn't matter whether it's A shape or T shape. You'll find it very difficult to rig a pre-posed model. It can be done, but it takes a lot of experience and time. So with this one, it's a T-shaped model, so I can use something. There's a little X up here. It says apply changes to match bones on opposite side of X-axis. So if I select this, anything I change either this side or this side will copy this side. So let's do the years. If I press 3 on my numbers pad and roll my middle mouse, sort of get myself a view that's half decent. Up here you've got something called snap. It looks like a little magnet. Select this and select the little drop down, and you've got different options. You could try edge, face. I'm going to go for vertex and keep this as closest. So let's do this lobe. Now although it's in line, if I just press Control and 1 to go in rear view, none of these are actually set around the ear. But if I was to, again, use C, select this, right click, and now press grab, it'll start snapping it to a vertex on the ear. So let's snap this here. Again, Alt A, C, right click and grab, and I can decide where I want this to go. Now this one's separated, you see, so you've got to be really careful with this. that'll do. You can also, if you select, you can also just press grab, and sometimes it'll snap up by just pressing grab over it, but it doesn't always work. So now if I press Control 1, it set these pretty close to the surface of the ear, which will do for this tutorial. So again, let's set something else up. Let's do the jawline. So I'm going to press C, select this, right click, and in this instance I'm going to use the move arrow. It pays to try and keep some of these bones in line. So if you use the move, and I'm just going to drag this up until it sort of snaps. Check that it's in the right place. So that's worked quite well. I'm happy with that. Alt A, then C, and again we'll try this, right click, and we'll try using this move, and that, snap that up there. Again 3. Okay, it's not perfect. Let's grab this back a little bit. Yeah, that'll do. And again, keep using Alt A, and this time, oh, didn't want to do that. Okay, and that's basically it. Just go around and gradually always use your C select and try and snap stuff up so it actually matches up to your model. I'm not going to go around doing everything. I will just show you a couple of so again, you'll need to do this with the whole face and the eyes, but I will just show you a couple of other things. I'm going to just turn this off, and let's hide the body. So if I select this eye bone, press 3 on my numbers pad. If you want to sort of animate the eye, you're going to need to make sure that the middle, again, if I press, this bone here is in the middle of the eye. Now clearly this isn't a full circle, this will be where the middle is. So I'm going to just grab this over in this direction, press 1 on my numbers pad, and sometimes it pays actually to have a look at the, so I'll grab this over to the middle. And that's all, placed it in the middle. Again, you've got certain bones that operate certain things. So this one here, say, is for the jaw. So I could grab this one up. Let's place it in front so I can see what I'm doing. And rotate it. And again, this one here is the same. Grab it. And in fact, let's select this one and press H to hide it so I can see what I'm doing. And rotate it. I'm not going to be going into great detail on this one. Again, I use the move arrows. So that one's fine. Let's hide the teeth. And these 3 here, again, we'll hide this one. These 3 bones here are for the tongue, so I can grab these up and sort of place them. Now these joints here are playing up, so again, sometimes it can be a real pain using Blender. I'll press C, select this, and drag this up. And that'll do for the tongue. Alt H to unhide everything. And really that's all you need to do. You just go around and make sure that everything is sort of snapped to the body. Doesn't have to be 100%. The ones at the top aren't always that important, but it depends on how much you want to, how accurate you want your face to be. So again, I might switch this on here, say, and grab this up and just go around selecting, and see I've got those two joined again. This is Alt A, always Alt A. That'll do. And just go around hiding bones if you need to, and keeping everything joined. That's the hardest bit. And that'll do. And you do the same for the eye. I'll just go ahead and sort of shape the eye, bearing in mind that this here is for the brow. These are for around the, what would be, say, called your eyelashes. So I'm going to just go ahead and quickly sort of select these, and then I'll go how I do the hands. Okay, well I've gone around and set this rig up so that actually everything is as close as possible to the body. This, if you're using the new face rig, not too sure what this does. I think it's probably more related to animals because you can actually twist the nose, but I've left this in place. But what I have done is placed everything else as close to the edge of the body as possible, including these are actually hidden inside this one here. So that is really all I can show you on the face. I've rushed it as well. I could have probably spent a bit longer doing it, but there you go. That's Blender for you. Okay, so to do the hands, there's another little trick which I find handy. If you come up to this snap option here, then use the drop down and select volume and then center. What this will do is, if I say select this bone here, obviously I've got to be in edit mode. If I select this bone here, for instance, and then place my pointer, I don't know, say here, if I press grab, it'll bang it slap bang in the middle of the your object. Let's grab this one here, and I'm going to leave it here, so I'm going to just place my pointer over and press snap. I'll do the same for this one. I don't know, we'll place this probably about here. Grab this up here. This one, let's go for the elbow. Now the hands, they're easy to do, ever so easy to do hands, but you need to try and get, so if I box select this here, make sure you've got everything selected. If you're not sure, just go around until you've got everything selected and go into front view. I'm just going to grab this up so it's roughly where I want it, and then I'm going to rotate it, and again you probably have to press grab. What you're trying to do is get it so that it's sort of in line with your hand. Use front view in front as well, I'm going to press 7 on my numbers pad, and again I'm going to grab this so it's kind of in line. Now if you're lucky, you should be able to start placing your joints without having to play around too much. Now these here, if I press go into X-ray, these you'll have to select both of them on all these joints, otherwise they'll break apart. So in this instance I'm just going to hold my left mouse button down and box select this, and then I'm going to press G to grab this one. I'll select this one and press G, select this one, grab again the end finger and grab. You can straighten them out if you want by pressing G and just moving your bone. I'll do one more. What this does is if I come out of in front, it'll actually place all the bones inside. So I'm going to go around and do all the finger bones and the thumb, and I'll come back. Okay, well I've placed all the finger joints and thumb inside the model. So the only other thing you might want to consider doing in this instance is select this one. I'm not ever too sure where it should be really, so I'll just press G for grab, and then select these by holding down shift, and again, I don't know, grab these. I'll select this one, grab this one, and let's have a look at the elbow. This needs to come back, so I'll press this one and press G, about there I think. And that should place everything inside. Yeah, all the joints are inside. Okay, let's do something else. I'm going to turn this off now, this snap, and I'll select this bone, box select, and grab it up. So I don't know, there, and G, grab it forward, and that'll do. The spine, try and keep it as straight as possible. Now I could move this spine, but it'll take too long. This will work fine. It's probably in about the right place anywhere. Anyway, hips, difficult to decide where the hips go. Again, you might want to press Alt Z and go into X-ray. Let's have a look at the hips. Yeah, I'll go into, let's grab these over this way, and about there. Box select this one because this is two joints. We'll drag this down a bit. These, again, where are the hips? Let's grab it over just a little bit. And the knees, again, I'm going to grab these so they're sort of over in the middle, and press 3 on my numbers pad. Never, the leg and the spine, never have them straight. Blender won't be able to work out what you're doing. So in this instance, and it doesn't matter if the knee is actually outside of your model, just drag it to the front a bit. The foot, try and keep this item sort of this bone here, move it with the rest of them. So what I would do is I'll just box select this and drag this forward so it's sort of over the ankle. Maybe I'll select this one, grab it a bit, and press 1 on my numbers pad, box select these and drag them over, and that's it really. I could have been more careful with what I've done here, but this is going to be good enough for what I want to do. Okay, I'm going to press tab to go into object mode. Now your options, if I come out of your options, you can either rig this model to these bones, and to do that you just select your model and then hold down shift and select the bone, and then press Control followed by P and select with automatic weights, and you do that for every individual item you've got. Or the other option, if you select your rig and come into the little running man, you can generate a rig, and again you would select every single item. So for instance, doesn't matter what order you do it in, so I'll select the dress, hold down shift and then select the rig, or the rigified rig, Control P with automatic weights. And just basically do that for every item you've got. I'll go through and do that, and then I'll come back and show you something else. Once you've parented your character to your rig, incidentally, you can if I wanted to parent it to this rig as well, if I open up the rig, I can still select the body and select this and parent it with automatic weights, but I'm not going to do that for this tutorial. What I will do is just press H and hide this. Then if you select your new rig, come over to pose mode, hopefully you have something that you've got a fighting chance of doing something with. I'm not going to go into too much about the different settings in Rigify. That's another lesson. So if I select this, I can move the eyes. There are settings you have to be aware of. This won't always work in some instances if you're doing certain things, and it has got drawbacks. Sometimes I wonder why they do some things in Blender. Anyway, hopefully this helps someone. Thank you for watching. Cheers.